All right, I think we should start. We've given people a few minutes to get here. All right, so calling the meeting to order at 7:08 p.m. This is the May 4th meeting of the Public Safety Committee of Community Board 12, Manhattan. Present are 11 participants. Myself, Barbara Frazier, Assistant Chair, is chairing tonight. We also have present committee members Gabriela Estrella, Jumirna Alcobar Ramirez, and and then we also have present with us the 34th Precinct, not sure who that is, Officer Emily Marte and Sandra Sanchez and Superintendent S. Miller, and then two attendees from the community, Austin Huang of the Osborne Association and Julio Batista from New York Presbyterian.
Barbara, you also have someone on behalf of the DA's office. I'm here tonight.
Who?
Ellie Silvestre. Hi, Barbara.
Yes, and Ellie Silvestre. And we also have present Ellie Silvestre from Community Affairs of the District Attorney's Office, Washington Heights office.
Thank you.
I believe I've given everyone. All right, so if we want to start, we don't have a quorum, but we can have reports. So Sandra Sanchez, who represents the FDNY, will give her report.
Thank you once again. Good evening, everyone. Sandra Sanchez, FDNY Community Affairs. I have some awesome news after much long wait. Our community dashboard is up. Still, we're working and figuring out some of the kinks, but we are able to report on the statistics. So I'm going to share with you the statistics for the month of April 2022 in the confines of Manhattan Community Board 12. So for structural fires, there were 36. For non-structural fires, there were 45. For medical emergencies, there were 665. Non-medical emergencies, 325, totaling the amount of incidents within Manhattan Community Board 12 to be 1,103. To put that in perspective, all of Manhattan, all the 12 community boards in Manhattan had 12,610 incidents throughout the month of April. We are still working on the same fires. I did provide Ebenezer a list of some of the fires the last time I had joined you with the incident reports that were available. I know you were concerned with 78 Post Avenue, and that was found to be electrical wiring, and I had shared that at the community board meeting. I conclude my report.
Any questions? I have a couple. What do you characterize a non-structural fire as? What's typical? I mean, this is great that we can go to a dashboard and see these statistics.
Food on stove is usually food on stove is usually like where it originates from for the most part. Maybe at times it could be candles, smoking.
Okay. When you said there were 665 medical incidents, are these basically EMS calls?
These are EMS runs, yes.
These are EMS runs, pretty much. Okay, and the non-medicals, what characterizes a non-medical call?
That would be EMS calls can happen if someone feels that they're in need, but when they're actually transported, it may be that someone's glucose may be a little bit too high. So that would fall under non-medical because they can be monitored in the home quickly. And if they do not want further care at a hospital.
So they're not taken to the hospital?
Yes.
Okay.
They're not taken to the hospital, or they decline treatment.
Oh, okay, so that means they're not, the EMS comes, but they're not taken. Oh, okay.
Sometimes there are incidents that, a good Samaritan may call, and when they arrive on the scene, they say that it's a not, these are non-medical incidents that we interact with whom the patient would be, but it is not something to the degree that they get transported there's need for them to be transferred to the hospital.
Okay, are there any other questions? Committee? Public? Does the public have any question to put in the chat or anything? Do we see anything? I don't see. I'm not see if I can see anything in the in the chat. Oh, that's funny. The chat isn't coming up for me. Since we have so many few people here, maybe what we could do, Chanel rather, Chanel, maybe what you could do is elevate Julio and the other person in the chat so that they're participants. I think that would be good to do. And that would be a way that we can avoid the chat, because they're really kind of members, Julio especially, members anyway. All right, well, thank you, Sandra. And now also, one question I have, with these electrical fires, is there follow-up with the FDNY to report that to the Department of Buildings so that landlords have to follow up and fix the building?
So for the most part, when we are on the scene, certainly during high rises, we're in communication where our system notifies Department of Buildings, so they are aware. But I am going to check specifically what happens in the light, because I don't want to say definitely yes, but I believe that there is that conversation and that notification, because Department of Buildings also has to come in and make sure that the structure after the fire is extinguished, that it is still inhabitable, that the structure is still sound for the other residents that may not have been affected by the fire per se. So there is extensive work that happens after fire, dealing in line with the Department of Buildings, but I'll look into that directly.
Yeah, can you see if a ticket or a violation is issued that has to be followed up on?
Wait.
Well, in other words, usually, like if there's a violation in a building, that gets tracked in the Department of Buildings. So I'm wondering if following something like this, if there's an electrical fire, is there some sort of ticket or violation that is issued that would be then tracked that has to be repaired?
I will certainly investigate. I do not know.
Okay. All right. So for example, if there's black mold in a building and a city inspector sees that a ticket, a violation is listed, and then that's, goes into a city computer and that doesn't get taken out until it's cleared. So I'm wondering if there's that same
If we
sort of
have
process.
access. I know that there are
Yeah.
systems that FDNY shares with DOB, and as you bring that up, I think of Mayor Eric Adams recently signed Executive Order number 12 in light of the Bronx fire that took place, and really that works for city agencies to speak. We always talk and we have communicated in the past, but now more so we are communicating more intimately, certainly with HPD. So now when HPD inspectors are doing their inspections, they are looking for what would be some of our fire safety requirements, as well as in real time, they're sharing their violations that deal with fire safety with us. So we are aware. So I will look thoroughly into how we communicate with Department of Buildings and report back.
Oh, that's excellent. Okay, thanks a lot. All right.
Not a problem.
Else? Okay, thank you. And tell us about your nephew next month too.
I shall. Thank you very much. I'll be listening. And so should there be a question, I will kind of poke in and see and answer offline. But many thanks. Be well.
Okay. All right. Bye. Okay. Okay, next. Who wants to go next? What about 34th Precinct? You're here?
Hi, Barbara. Hi, everyone. This is Officer Aim. I'll be filling in for Lieutenant Taveras. I hope everyone's doing well.
Okay, Officer, spell your name again, please.
Ayme.
Ayme. Okay,
And I'm sorry, the webcam wasn't working today, so we couldn't get it operable for this meeting, but we'll get it fixed
All
for the
right.
next one.
okay,
So
happens.
Hey,
for this,
Barbara, I just noticed that I'm in. Sorry for the interruption. I'm going to mute myself because I'm driving.
Okay, okay, OC Kamener's here now. Okay. But OC has entered the meeting. All right, okay, go on, Officer Aim.
alrighty, for the this 20 as opposed to 3 from the last 28-day period of 2021, we've had 1 rape as opposed to 0 from the last 28-day period. We've had 12 robberies opposed to 10. We've had 29 felony assaults as opposed to 23. We've had 10 burglaries as opposed to 7. We've had 44 grand larcenies as opposed to 34. We've had 20 grand larceny of autos as opposed to 14. And in regards to emotionally disturbed person calls, we've had 191 this 28-day period as opposed to 153 in 2021. We've had 208 domestic violence reports taken this 28-day period as opposed to 189. In terms of animal abuse 311 calls, we've received 2 this 28-day period as opposed to 7 from last year. In regards to the 911 calls for animal abuse, we've received 4 as opposed to 5 last year. All of those animal abuse jobs and calls were all marked unfounded. So there was no proof that any animal was abused. And in terms of fire 911 calls, we received 94 this 28-day period as opposed to 85 last year. And in regards to the felony assaults, 16 were the weapon was a blunt instrument. 2 of the felony assaults were people that were shot by a firearm. 1 felony assault was like a serious physical injury, which upgraded it to a felony assault. 3 were strangulation, and 5 were people that were stabbed or slashed with a knife.
People have questions? Gabriella, OC? Jumirna?
Question.
No
OC.
questions.
Okay, OC, then Gabriella.
Okay, it's a question and a thank you note at the same time. At our last meeting, I reported that I called 311 about the shed on Isham and Broadway, right on the sidewalk where the church is. And 2 days later, this shed was gone. So I don't know who should I thank, because the 34th, you guys said that it's not you, it's the Department of Consumer Affairs, but apparently the information was transferred to the right department and it was dealt with. So I want to thank whoever dealt with that and the 34th, but it will be nice to know who should we, how can we go about it next time, so we know what the process is.
Yeah, so my boss and I, Lieutenant Tavares, we did pass by that location. I've seen it before, and there was a notification made to the Department of Consumer Affairs. So I'm happy that they acted quickly on that.
Okay, so thank you so much. And thank you to the Department of Consumer Affairs. I mean, Barbara, I would like to ask that will be noted in the minutes so people will know what to do next time.
Okay, Jumirna's doing the minutes, but I'm taking some to Jumirna. Yeah, make sure she notes that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I definitely need to get access to the video afterward. That way I can review it.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
send you the link, Jumirna.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are you done, OC?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Gabriella?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, nothing. Jumirna, did you have something to ask? Jumirna?
No, thank you.
Uh, uh, from the public, Julio, someone else? All right, I had a couple things to ask. Just first of all, the grand larceny auto, it's not getting better, is it? It's a tough one, right?
Well, we're doing the best that we can. I know that several summonses have been issued for idling vehicles. People who park their cars to just run inside real quick to get food, and when they come back out, the car's gone. So our police officers are, if they see a car that's double parked or running and there's no one, it's unoccupied, we do our best that we can and we issue them a summons. Sometimes we use discretion and just tell the person, hey, listen, you can't be doing this. There's a lot of cars being stolen out here. So, we're using different tactics and methods to achieve that goal.
I know you're trying. I know that you're trying. Okay, I have 3 issues to bring up. And it really, if you and I've received emails on them too, and they concern the issue of intolerable noise, intolerable mayhem. It's not just noise, it's mayhem. First of all, the situation that's going on behind George Washington High School, 190th in Amsterdam. There is basically an outdoor nightclub set up there, and I'm sure you're aware of that. If you look on the Facebook page, Washington Heights Inwood for respectful decibel levels, there are videos of 8 or 9 speakers set up, 40 cars, many cars, people out there drinking, electric bikes and such all over the sidewalks. People have filed numerous 311 complaints, and one of your squad cars goes by, and then there says nothing, no problem, nothing to see, case closed. That's intolerable. It's intolerable. What will you do to shut down that situation? So it's got to move on. That's
Well, I
my
can tell you, yeah, no, I understand. I could tell you from firsthand experience that, you need probable cause to write someone a summons. And as soon as they see a police car coming down the block, they lower the volume. If we see that the speakers are outside the car and on top of the car, or we see any speakers, we usually do stop and tell them, like, hey, you can't have these out. You can't be playing music. I could tell you firsthand myself, I go out with my lieutenant and we write summonses for unreasonable noise. So all our police officers are aware of that. I don't know if you remember last year or the year before, and hopefully we do it again this year. Back of George Washington High School, we used to have barriers on 190 and Amsterdam, and on the other side on Fort George, like St. Nick area. We usually shut that off summer to prevent that congregation of cars, that congregation of loud music, disturbing everyone while they're trying to sleep. So I'm gonna find out. I hope we do it again this year, because that was effective, just shutting down that whole area. Except people who live in the area, they show us ID, they go in, they park, or if they just want to park their car, things like that, they can go in. But that was very effective. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Well, that is effective, and that's very smart policing. But the point is, the season has already started. In other words, for the last 2 weekends, this has been going on, and you've got to start it now. And also, it's not just people in apartment buildings. Isabella home is there, and you have, senior citizens. I think it's over 1,000 senior citizens who are being stressed, to the point of, medical emergency. So it's intolerable. So it started now. So now is the weekend to shut it down. And that is exactly what's effective. And that's not their party space, and they're where they claim territory. Because it's more than people hanging out, it's claiming territory. And you know the implications of that, the kind of people that do that, right? So, you know, that is
What kind of people? What kind of people?
generally it's people who are involved in promoting illegal activity, generally people who are completely disrespectful of other people, people who are not concerned with, when you ask them politely, will you turn this down? They're indifferent and so forth. So it's not a matter of, trying to, there's also generally a lot of money that will happen there where things are being sold. There may even be food carts and food trucks that get set up where there's a lot of essentially an outdoor nightclub. There's a whole commercial aspect to it. So, that we can't have that. Now, also another one that started over the last 2 weeks is at the corner of Thayer between Nagel and Sherman. They've actually sent up a tent, and there were over 80 people there this last weekend. So, and that's where, as you know, on Thayer there, in that immediate block off of Nagel, there isn't an apartment building. There's the laundromat and there's the another structure. I forget what the building is, but there's not an apartment building. So they've set up in front of there with then like this tent. And again, there were like 80 people there having an outdoor street party with, again, 6 or 8 loudspeakers and so forth. So that's another place that's starting to build up. So I ask that you immediately take an intervention of preventing that. Because again, people were just miserable all weekend. And then the other report was, I don't know if this is the 33rd, the salad place, Pick and Pay by the George Washington Bridge. Is that 33rd or 34th? North of the GW, like 179th, 180th. Is that 33rd or 34th?
34th.
Okay.
Up,
that,
179 up.
Hmm?
179 north is 34.
Okay, yeah, it's at the corner. I think it's the north. Is it the north or southeast? I think it's on the west side. I don't know if it's the north or south corner. They also started again outdoor speakers, blasting, and going to like 3 or 4 in the morning. So I don't even think they're allowed to be open that late. I'm not even clear to me if they have a liquor license. But again, loud. I suspect they were having like a private party. But this has been now going on continually. What? So if you could please check on that. So those are like the 3 hot spots that people were really upset about. And especially the GW and the Thayer. So what? Well, that's all I had to say about that.
I have a question.
Who?
Me,
Who's this?
Bernard.
Bernard?
I'm a member of the public, yeah.
Bernard who?
Grobman, BG.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so is the 33rd still here? Because I kind of came in
Well,
late.
they haven't spoken yet. We're only
Oh,
with
they
the
have.
30.
Okay, so then I'll wait then. I'll
Okay,
wait.
fine. Yeah, wait, please. Okay. All right. And are there any other questions? Okay, I guess that's it. So you'll get back to us about that, and can you report back if you're going to be able to close off the 190th like you did last year, the Amsterdam area?
Absolutely.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
Well, Barbara, is this an appropriate time to comment on what issues you just raised or not? Or is there another part of the meeting?
Well, was this with the 34th or the 33rd?
34th.
Yeah, this is time for the public to speak, yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to piggyback exactly what you described as going on. I live on, the building is on Amsterdam between 189th and 190th. And it is regular, the speakers outdoors, the partying is it's a regular event as soon as the weather gets warm. And it's more so on weekends. So in the past, the police department has been loath to ticket these young people, mostly young men, who have their speakers set outdoors on top of their cars or on the excuse me, on the sidewalk, or there's the park that's very close by. But does the police department have those kind of I don't know what you would call them, devices that measure noise? Because there is a legal noise limit in New York City. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe we do have one of those decibel readers. I'd have to ask my lieutenant just to confirm, and I can get back on the next meeting with that. The way it usually goes is, I guess the legal term is if a reasonable person would be bothered by that noise is enough for us to, I guess, have probable cause to give them a ticket or a summons. So if I'm going up Amsterdam and I can hear the music from 190 in Amsterdam and they're like in the middle of Amsterdam, if I can hear it, that's enough reason for me to justify giving them a ticket. And we could even go as far as just removing the whole speaker and vouchering it. So that's the enough for us.
It cannot be part of the routine, because up to now, basically what the 34th does is they come by in a scout car, do not get out of the scout car, but they come by and they kind of shoo these people away, or as soon as the scout car approaches or stops, they will turn down the music. And any reasonable person would understand that as soon as that scout car leaves, they're going to start again. So I just want you to know, you're not visible. All I see is 34th precinct. So it's a little bit hard to speak into this dark view. But so I just want you to know, that the neighborhood is becoming more and more and more agitated. We've reached the limit with this. So my expectation is that there's going to be trouble unless the 34th gets this under control. And it would be important for you, or that is to say, the precinct, to get back to us and let us know what exactly is going to happen. What are the kinds of things that you are going to put into practice? And we're not calling 311 anymore. You have to understand that. If there are cars that are loaded up here, motorbikes are racing, speakers are going on, we're calling 911. And you can tell us that we're wrong, we're doing it anyway.
It's fine to call 911.
Can I add something about
Who's that?
It's Bernard
One
again.
person at a
It's
time.
Bernard again. I know that I'm not in the 34th, but my understanding of the noise law in New York City is that you cannot turn on an amplified speaker on the street at any time during the day or night without a permit from the police department. And that permit, which costs $40 or something like that, is only good until 9 p.m. So you could turn on any amplified source on the street at all, turned on at a whisper level, is illegal, much less at the levels that we deal with in this neighborhood. 100%. Okay. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding. As far as cars go, I think it's a certain number of feet away from the car or something like that. But a speaker on the street, which we deal with a lot, completely 100% illegal. See the speaker on the street, it should be taken away. That's it.
And to your point, what about the speakers in the car? I mean, basically, these cars are used as mobile speakers.
Right, if the speaker is detachable from the car, which many of them are, they're just as illegal.
Great. So I don't know who's representing the 34th, but what is your response to this?
I also wanted to add, what happens to the speakers after they're removed from the streets?
Okay, so I can answer your questions in regards to what happens to the speakers after they're removed. Is after the summons is issued, the owner of the speaker can come to the precinct and present their identification and proof of purchase or just proof of ownership, and the speaker will be given back to them. In regards to the noise, you know, a lot of our officers do practice discretion. So, you know, we understand any type of noise is illegal, but if a lot of officers practice discretion because that's what we've been trained to do. You know, not every person you have to give them a ticket. We try not to escalate the situation. We try to de-escalate. If the music is unreasonable and it's very loud and to any reasonable person, then, you know, most of the time we will, at least I would, issue a summons or even to the extent of removing the speaker. So, you know, we are giving summonses. That's definitely a fact, and it's going on in many different parts of the precinct, not just on back of Amsterdam. It's all areas that, you know, we're just trying to juggle. And also, you know, another point to mention is, you know, the lack of manpower. You know, on a regular 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. shift, we only have 4 cars out on patrol. And, you know, that's something that we have to manage as well, because we also have 911 jobs to respond to, other emergencies. And all I could tell you is, you know, we're doing the best we can.
Well, Officer Aim, first of all, Bernard Groban is correct about the 9 p.m. Matter of fact, for famous events such as Simon and Garfunkel's concert in the park and such, it had to stop at 9 p.m. So this is across the board, the sound regulations are 9 p.m. in the city. So when you have a speaker going at midnight, that's illegal. Second of all, the situation that we're talking about behind George Washington, the 190th in Amsterdam, that could be heard 6 blocks away. We're not talking about driving by some, you know, people sitting out in their lawn chairs enjoying the summer breeze and maybe having you know, a radio a little too loud. We're talking about something that could be blasting and heard 6 blocks away. So this is an intolerable situation. This is something where, again, Isabella, of, you know, of elderly and many frail, many ill, is being blasted all night long. Last Saturday, it went till 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning. An outdoor commercial nightclub running all night till 8 in the morning. That's intolerable. So this is not, well, we try to give them some leniency, we try to negotiate, we don't want to escalate. That's escalation. That is total escalation on a neighborhood. We can't have that. And your solution, which has been very successful in the past, we simply ask to be implemented. Of, you know, taking the stanchions and marking it off and closing the area. Very successful, very thoughtful.
I would endorse that 100%. Again, in terms of the escalation, I think the escalation you're going to actually see from the neighbors who are affected by this.
Yeah, I also wanted to suggest possibly your NCOs and community affairs officers might want to approach Isabella and possibly hold a community meeting there with the people in the affected area and listen to them and also tell them what they are going to do to stop this for the summer. And you might want to plan that out and then really put a lot of flyers up, contact people like Deborah here, Denise Lawfer, other people that live in the area, and pull people in along with people that live in Isabella to have a meeting and work with the community to not only reassure them, but, you know, help them. I would suggest that, and see if that's possible.
Yeah, we have build a block meetings that the hours, times, and locations are posted on Twitter. The NCOs go to those build a block meetings. In fact, they're the ones who run it, and anyone from the community can come and voice their concerns or complaints.
I think you need more outreach. That's Sector A, correct? I believe that's Sector A.
Yes.
Yeah, when is the next Sector A build a block? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head.
No,
It
yeah,
would be
I
posted
don't know
on
either.
Twitter.
Yeah, but they're only every 3 months.
I
mean-
Barbara, I think it's the 15th. I could be wrong, but I think it's the 15th.
15th of what, this month?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that would be great. Okay, so hopefully then we can get a lot of people there. Where will it be held?
I
Yeah.
don't have the flyer in front of me, but if I could email you. How do
All
I?
right. But why don't you try to take along with maybe Gabriella, who lives up there, to get a lot of people to the Build-A-Block?
Can you send me the email addresses I'll need?
Well, I can later I can give you mine, but
Okay.
I'm just saying that would be a possibility, and to talk with Isabella and so forth. We should move the meeting forward now. I can talk to you off meeting, okay?
Okay.
And also you should connect with Gabriella, who's on the committee. Okay, all right. Anybody else for the 34th? Okay, all right, let's move on. Thank you very much. Okay, all right, next would be 33rd. Who's here from the 33rd? 33rd is not here? Oh. Okay. Who's Officer Emily Marte?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hi, I'm Officer Marte. We cover we're from Transit District 3. We
you're
cover
from where?
Transit District 3. We're in the subway system.
Oh, great, transit is
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Wonderful.
We attended when we first got invited by the pastor to these meetings. We attended the first 2, but you know, our schedule has been a little crazy because of obviously everything that's going on in the transit system. So today I was able to make it and we're here.
Thank you.
Hi. To my understanding, I was supposed to report on 125 in Lenox, correct?
No, I mean, maybe, please do. I mean, please
Yeah.
report what.
So we cover 9
That's fine.
precincts. Our problem is
125th and Lenox is not in Community Board 12.
okay. Oh, this is 12.
Yes, this is 12.
Oh, I'm sorry. So what stations are in this? I'm sorry.
The 1 and the A.
All right. So
From-
basically,
The
we cover.
34th precinct and the 33rd precinct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we cover the 1 line from 96th Street all the way to 242. We cover the A line from 96th Street to 207, and we cover the 2 and 3 from 96 to 148. So we're split into 3 sectors: Sector Adam, Boy, and Charlie. And each sector's focus on certain subway system. So in the 3-4 and the 3-3, we have Sector Adam, which they cover 168th Street to 207 on the Adam, 168th Street to 242 on the 1. And then I know 163rd Street on the Charlie, that's Sector Boy. My name is Officer Marte. I'm basically the admin person, so I cover basically every sector. So I know everything that's going on within each 3 sectors. Basically, our main quality of life issues within our sector will be 168 and 181 and 191 on the 1, 168, 181 on the Adam. We do multiple joint ops with BRC, which is the Homeless Outreach Unit. Our main thing, we try to for the homeless, we're just trying different approach because we understand that the homeless condition is something that's going on in this transit system right now. But unfortunately, we cannot, get them off our trains without offering help. So this is why we try to focus more joint ops with BRC. Like tonight, we do have a BRC joint op with set up with them, where we also have officers riding the trains in plain clothes. We have officers stationed, especially on 168 on the 1 and on the Adam, both sides. Excuse me. Yeah.
How about the 157th, 145th, and 137?
Okay, so that's sector boy. We do cover those stations as well. 145th on the 1 is our another big quality of life condition with everybody, you know, smoking in the station. Actually, today we did effect 2 arrests from that station just today. We have multiple train ones there, station inspections, which means like officers check the stations, officers are checking the trains coming in and out of the station. We try to stay in that station mostly in plain clothes, but at this point, you know, there's how can I say this? It's the same individual, so they already know who we are. But again, we're out there writing summonses. We out there, you know, enforcing, trying to make it a little uncomfortable for them to just exit. Because, you know, we don't want that in our transit system. It's a little uncomfortable for, you know, everybody that's paying their fare, especially for the kids coming and going from school. We're trying, we're doing the best that we can, but we're just trying to find an approach that works as a solution. For me to sit here and say, you know what, we're going to do this, and this is going to fix everything. It's not. They're just going to go to another station, and it's just going to bring everything's just going to move to another station. So this is why we're trying to focus on, you know, outreach units. There's this needle exchange unit program that they have. We're trying to work with them in regards to, you know, if they're giving out needles, maybe they should receive some needles in return. It's just all little stuff that we're just trying to figure out right now. But again, with the help with everybody, it just makes it a little easier.
Nice, thank you. I'm actually very happy you're here. I do have a question on cameras in our train stations here in our communities. Is there a way that there can be some sort of report, most recent updates of our cameras effectively, you know, functioning within the train stops directly related to CB12?
So we do actually, all the stations do have cameras, but they're mostly in the turnstile area. Cameras within the platform, there are none. All the cameras are by the turnstiles, and the stations that don't have the cameras by the turnstiles, there's cameras outside. Especially with unfortunately what happened with the subway system. Hold on. Especially with what happened in the Bronx, their MTA is trying to, you know, be on top of that, make sure all the cameras are working. But for our sector, all our cameras are working. If that answered your question, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was just wondering if it could be sort of documenting the details of making sure they do work, just because I know usually pretty much the precincts share with us like a recap of crimes throughout the month. And I was just wondering if that could be possible too.
Well, with us being that we do cover 9 precincts, our recap is not really focused on one specific area, but I can, if you're just concerned about the cameras, I can work with MTA and just note down all the subway stations within the 3-4 and 3-3 and let you know about the cameras and basically our main stations, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, that would be very nice too. Yes, please. If we can share with them. And I was also wondering if there's some sort of pamphlet that could be shared with the community, because I know as of recently, the community has been very concerned within the transit system. People feeling a little unsafe. So pretty much like steps somebody can do in case of an emergency, things that are a little bit more visible for them, because I'm not too sure if the community is familiar with transit police. I feel like the community usually depends on NYPD. So I think this could be sort of like a collaborative effort that we know the community knows that transit police is also a service for safety in transit?
So we are NYPD, we're just assigned to transit. So basically what I can say is if you see like you're always walking into 145 on the one, there's this one person that's always holding the gate open and you see him every day at 8 a.m. and he's always there. We tell people to email. There's an email portal on MTA, it's MTA portal. There's a link that you click on it and you email, hey, 145 on the one every day at 8 a.m. I always see this individual. You describe the individual and then it goes through MTA. MTA then forwards those emails to us, the NCOs in Transit District 3. And then once we see a certain email that keeps happening, like, you know what, 8 a.m. we're going to be there, maybe we'll find this individual and try to address the condition. That's one way, but those are considered like 311 calls. As for like the 34 and 33 precincts, that's our version of 311 calls, emails. If you see something that's an emergency, call 911. And again, if the topside unit doesn't respond, we respond because it's transit, but we are NYPD. We also have our website. If you want to go to Transit District 3, it tells you exactly who covers what station, and just email us direct. Like if you feel like your home station, you kind of want more information on your home station, it tells you what sector covers that station, and we'll just email you anything you need to know and we can work from there.
Thank you so much for that.
No problem.
You're muted, Barbara. You're muted.
Am I unmuted now?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think the public is really aware of that. For example, that the Transit District 3 has their own webpage. Could you please send us that information more clearly so that Jumirna can get that in the minutes and that we can get that more out to the public? I think that would be very helpful. If people could start to have some direct relationship with, especially in terms of where, as Jumirna properly said, people are feeling less safe. If they can make some connection then with the officers and the people that are in charge of those stations, I think that would be very helpful.
I can share my email, and then whatever station you guys are concerned with, I'll just send the two officers that cover that station. Or even if it's not in your community, I'll just direct you to the correct people as well. So I'm just gonna, where can I share my email? In the chat?
In the chat. Put your email in the chat and Jumirna can pick it up from there. Now, what is your exact position, Officer Marte?
Well, I basically fill in for any sector that needs a fill in. And if everybody's here, we just, we all go out together at the same time. So basically the whole district, I kind of overlook everything. That's why I said, just email me. And if I don't have the answer for you, I'll just direct you to the person who would have an answer or a solution to, anything in regards to the email. The chat's not letting me write anything. You want me to say, the chat's not letting me write anything? Do you want me to just say my email?
Okay, yes, please.
So it'll be emily.marte@nypd.org.
But you're always assigned to Upper Manhattan?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Can you give us some sense of what the
Can you
crime
repeat the email, please?
Oh, sorry, Jumirna.
emily.marte@nypd.org.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Can you please give us some sense of the major crimes that have occurred in these Upper Manhattan trains in the last month? We actually have a resolution tonight that we want to put up about the situation in especially 168th Street and the tunnels, which we'd like you to stay around for.
Okay. So within, the subway stations, what I can say, what our most crimes is happening is individuals are on the train and they're on their phones sitting next to the door. Now we have, the individuals just digging their hand in the subway cart, snatching the phone and running out of the stations. So what I always like to tell people, every time the doors open, just peek your head up for a second, because then now you're calling us, hey, somebody snatched my phone. Where did they go? I don't know. What, what did they look like? I don't know. So it's like, it's kind of hard to maneuver that. So that's one big crime that's been happening in the subway system. Also, people falling asleep on the train, especially for 207 and Inwood, is an end stop. So, people are there looking, to just an opportunity of people sleeping on the train. If you're feeling like you're dozing off, just stand up, change your seat, move a cart, move your cards, because that's our main crimes that's happening within those stations. I know in the midnight hours, there's a lot of homeless people in the train station. People do not feel safe, and it's understandable. What we advise sometimes, especially on 168 on the one, it tells you what time the train comes down, and there's always MTA people by the elevators, or even the booth agents. Just hang around by them, and once your train's coming, just make your way to the train. Basically, those are the main things that are happening in those subway stations right now. And always keep there's people that keep their phones on their back pocket, just have it on their hand. This is what we're really getting, cell phone snatches at this point. And it's really the kids that are doing it, and it's all on opportunity, because it's not like it's one individual that's doing it. It's all opportunity. They see an easy phone they can snatch, they're gonna do it.
There's also been violent incidents. Youth have just been attacked, violently hit, and so forth. There's been several of those incidents.
With those incidents is it's an ongoing incident, which what we call is like an argument that happened. Like, it's a story behind it. It's not unprovoked, what we would like to label it as, but everything that happens in the transit system gets sent to the detective bureau, and it's under investigation, and they do catch the individuals.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
We have are there any other questions?
So I have my hands up, Barbara.
Oh, okay, Julio, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Barbara. So great to have someone from the transit on the meeting. I have an Officer Marte attend. I think this is really the first meeting that I can recall attending that someone from transit has been at. And we have raised the issue a few times around the problem that we have on 168th Street with the train station, the lack of security that existed there. Very grateful to the 33rd Precinct for doing the increasing the patrols on the street, but there still continues to be issues of insecurity on 168th Street, especially since the mayor has also mentioned that those train stations where the trains will end, they will give some sort of special attention, and will have homeless outreach included in that. So I'd like to know, in terms of the transit police, what sort of attention they're paying to 168th Street, what has changed from a few months ago. So I'd like to know a little bit more about what they're doing with 168th Street.
So in regards to 168th Street, we do have in the day tour, our day tour is 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. We do have 2 officers fixed there, which means that they're assigned to that station. Again, you need to understand that 168 is a really big station. So if you don't see them on the A side, they are on the 1 side, and they are taking the elevator. We have our school team that's assigned to 168 as well during the morning rush, the school hours, which will be 8 a.m. to, I believe it's like 10 a.m. Those 2 individuals, they're also assigned at that station. We also have different units doing train runs to and from 168 on the 1 and on the A line. We have officers, our plainclothes officers assigned at that station. Just because you don't see officers there does not mean that they're not there. Me, myself, we are in plainclothes today, and 168 is one of the stations we do cover. The school unit is also there during the afternoon dismissal. We have our overtime posts there, which they're supposed to do station inspections and checking the trains in and out. We do work closely with the 33rd precinct, with Sector David and Sector, which is our Sector Adam in transit. And there's these securities that came from transit. They're also standing at 168 over on the overpass, the ones that are wearing the orange vest. They're also, if they see something there to call us, they report to us. So we are paying special attention to 168.
All right, because the incidents that have occurred there were not sort of random. These were slashing, there were robberies that took
In
place.
regards to the slashing,
some of our employees at New York Presbyterian in Columbia have also have been harassed and have been very afraid of doing it. So that's why I'm sort of interested in knowing over the last few months what's different has taken place to ensure that these things don't happen.
I don't know if you know Richard Medina. We've been working really close with him, and we share a lot of information with him, who he also shares with his staff from the hospital. In regards to the slashing, you did say it was there were two known individuals to each other. So again, it was not a random attack. All the stuff that's happening in 168 are known individuals to the department, to us, and to each other. And there are some random attacks, like, unfortunately people are getting like hit on the back of their heads and stuff. And thankfully with cameras and it being reported to us, we are able to catch these individuals.
All right, thank you.
I have a question about the 191st Street station, if that's appropriate right now.
That's appropriate. Go ahead.
Yes. So at the 191st Street station, much of the drug activity takes place. I don't know, Emily, if you're familiar with that station, but it's an elevator station.
Yes, we are familiar with that station.
So there are a couple, as you enter, before you actually get on the elevators to get to the station platforms, there is a fair amount of drug dealing going on. Always the same 4 individuals. And when police officers, when I spoke with the police officers, this was about 6 weeks ago, who were monitoring the situation. And I asked them about the drug dealing, and they said that now that marijuana was legal, that there was nothing that they could do about it. So I had 2 comments. One is that marijuana is not white and doesn't come in small transparent packages. And 2, alcohol is also legal, but it is not allowed to be, you can't buy and sell it on the street. And this goes on constantly. And so it's not addressed at all. And there's the Washington Heights High School that's close by, and other schools that are close by. And these young kids see these men with wads of cash as very enticing, very enticing. But every time it's been raised in other meetings with the NYPD, they say that they can't interfere because they have to see it, the transaction actually occurring. But, other than food, what else are these people selling? Or what else is allowed, I should say, what else is allowed to be sold?
Okay, so in regards to 191 on the tunnel on,
No, not the tunnel, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that that's not assigned to transit. And also, once you get off the elevator, half is the 3-4. Once you get on the street, is not transit either. I know it's the little hallway you're speaking about. In regards to drinking alcohol and smoking, if it's a violation to do that within the transit system, but yeah, I'm not too sure what the 3-4 is doing in regards to that on top side. What was your next question about selling? Yeah, we have to actually
about the drug dealing that's going on, and we're caught between a rock and a hard place because the MTA says they can't do anything about it, and the NYPD says they can't do anything about it. So it continues.
All right. We need to, in order for us to address it, we need to actually observe it as well. So we can be there for hours in plain clothes and uniform. And if we don't see it, there's nothing, like our hands are tied as well. Now, if we're there and we observe it, of course, we're gonna address the situation. But if we're not seeing it ourselves, our hands are tied because there's nothing that we can say or do that, it will hold up in court, honestly, if we're really speaking.
Right, but
Isn't
my
that-
guess
excuse me,
is that
Deborah, please, you made your point. Isn't that what undercover officers are for buy and bust?
Correct. And that is, it goes through some channels, and I'm pretty sure the 3-4 can speak more on it if they're still on. It's just like a joint operation with different units, because this is not a unit that's coming out of the 3-4 precinct or even transit. This is a unit that comes from somewhere else to address a certain, what we call hot area. So
Well,
what,
could you please follow up with the
I'll be-
34th? Because we're talking about it with you, and determine the location and connect with undercover narcotics. And it seems to me a pretty straightforward buy and bust, on a few occasions can be initiated, and that should shut it down. Seems to me there's been a communication problem.
it's not a communication problem, it goes through some channels, but we'll look
Okay,
into
well,
it.
let's get the channels moving, right? So if you could take that initiative, we'd really appreciate it.
I'll forward your concerns to the 3-4 precinct. There'll be more, they'll have more answers for you.
Well, they're not on right now.
I will email them.
Okay,
and
thank
I'll
you.
forward
That
your
would be
concerns to
great.
them.
That'll be great. Okay. Are there any other questions for Emily? Now, Emily, we hope you will come every month. As Julio said, this was the first meeting that you came to, and we've had many, many questions for transit. And if we'd known you were going to be here, we could have even prepared better. Can you commit to being here next month?
Well, I thought this was the community board 11. This is the first time I'm actually invited to this one. Like I said,
Oh.
our schedules are all over the place, but once I am certain that I am gonna attend, I always accept the invitation and I RSVP. So yes, you keep sending the emails, I'll be here.
Well, you're invited. Take this as an invitation. You're invited for next month.
Thank you,
We want you back, okay?
thank
definitely
you.
want you.
I hope everybody has a nice night.
And also, Emily, we have a resolution which I would like you to see before you leave. I hate to jump this because I wanted to get to Sandra Sanchez and to Ellie Silvestri, but this concerns exactly what we were talking about tonight. If committee members have it, Chanel, can you put this up so that people can see the resolution? Chanel, are you on?
Yes, one moment.
Okay. Now, I don't think that we can vote it up because we don't have a quorum. I think that we can vote on it and then we can send it to the executive committee and then the executive committee can vote on it. I think that's how it works. We have a resolution concerning the problems with 168th Street Station and the 191st Street Station. And this was forwarded earlier to the committee members. There it is. All right, take a minute and people can read it. I don't know, should I read it out loud or can people just read it on their own? What do you think?
why don't you read it?
Okay, all right, well, okay, resolution. Whereas after the April 2022 brutal attack on a fellow Community Board 12 board member and several violent incidents, including a drug overdose death inside the St. Nicholas Avenue Tunnel. And whereas with increased reported violent incidents, loitering, and inappropriate behavior towards subway riders, harassment, and whereas the increased community complaints of garbage, filth, human waste, syringes, needles, loitering, homeless encampment, especially on the 190th Street St. Nicholas Tunnel. And whereas on January 24th, 2022, Community Board 12 Manhattan wrote Mayor Eric Adams requesting the increase of public safety measures to ensure the well-being of the riders and general public. And whereas Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, Congressman Adriano Espaillat, Council Member 10th District Carmen De La Rosa, Council Member 7th District Shauna Brew, are in support and signed a letter and sent to the New York City Department of Buildings Commissioner Melanie LaRocca. Therefore, be it resolved that Community Board 12 Manhattan supports intervention and violence mitigation measures to address public safety concerns in both subway entrances and their respective unique issues. Be it further resolved, Community Board 12 Manhattan calls on the New York City Department of Buildings and the New York City Department of Transportation to further provide updates on the safe maintenance of both subway entrances and the overall improvement of transit services. Okay. What do people think? Committee members first?
Sounds good to me.
Was that
Barbara, this is
Jamira?
Maria Luna. I'm sorry that I'm not a member of the community or the committee, but I'm a member of the CV12. And the be it resolved, could you move it up a little?
Okay,
The
can you see it,
resolve-
Maria?
Yeah, this is Maria Luna.
Okay,
You said here, Community Board 12 Manhattan calls on the New York City Department of Buildings. Now, what does the Department of Building have anything to do with the subway entrances? Should that
the
be
scaffold-
split?
the-
Should
the
we?
scaffold, Maria, I will tell you. The scaffolding that is all around that's 168th Street entrance that's caused a lot of that, that's been contributing to the crime.
Oh, no,
Julio,
but
is
I'm
the-
saying that it should be split. It should be a split and not combine the buildings and then Department of Transportation. That's what my,
We're addressing it to both.
And I'm sorry to jump in.
Jump in, Julio.
I was gonna also say that in terms of I know, I think it needs also a little bit of context in terms of why the Department of Buildings is being mentioned. And I think that citing somewhere with the whereas where, the scaffolding at the location of 600 West 168th Street accumulates debris and garbage, and it's blown into the subway station, then creating that atmosphere of lawlessness.
Okay, where is scaffolding at? Again, Julio? Julio, scaffolding at, what's the address again?
600 West 168th Street.
Whereas scaffolding at 600 West 168.
Accumulates, it creates a tunnel and collects debris that filters directly into the subway station.
And collects debris that accumulates in the subway station, okay.
Yeah, because I've seen that all the time, but it's just, just the wind takes it and then brings it into the, because it's right connected to it.
All right, okay, all right, we can put that in, sure. Whereas the scaffolding that, so what creates a, it's not only a tunnel, it's that it covers everything up. What do I want to say? Creates, what do you call it when it creates a,
Well, it just collects debris, collects dirt.
all right, okay, all right, and collects debris. And we don't have to say more. Yeah,
Well, it's a hazard. It's a hazard.
yeah, hazard's a good word. Creates,
Can
yeah.
can I add something about the DOB thing about the sidewalk sheds? Is that
No, that's not germane to this. No.
was that that's what you're talking about, right?
No, because that's not for this resolution. That could be another resolution.
Yeah, I think this is directly impacts because this directly impacts the subway stations themselves. Right before you go into the subway station, that's why the scaffolding is being
Right.
addressed now.
Okay, all right, so
So
whereas,
maybe, Barbara, so maybe that could be a split, like I said, be further resolved that to provide the transportation, the subway entrance, just to split it, to make sure that, they understand that there are two issues here. The Department of Building taking care of as soon as possible, the removal, of the, the shed, and then be further resolved that there had to be security of the subway entrances and the overall improvement of transit services.
All right, so just in the resolved, okay.
Yeah, I think we should be split just to make it stronger.
Resolved, okay, resolved that we call in the Department of Buildings. Okay, so in the resolved, the first resolved will be community supports intervention to address at both subway entrances and you see, actually that's okay, Maria, because the Department of Transportation, see, the deal is the tunnel. The 191st Street tunnel is the responsibility of the Department of Transportation.
But my concern is that probably both departments don't talk to each other.
Well, this forces them to talk to each other.
Well, that's what we think.
Yeah.
A very important point.
Yeah, that forces them to talk to each other. That's why this is together, because it's this joint problem that has been avoided. Right?
Because that I believe that on the Transit and Transportation Committee meeting on Monday, I believe I heard that the Department of Building says that they are going to do some work, that the shed on 186th Street is going to be there because they are starting some work to be done there. So they may come up with that story. So I want to, make it stronger, the transit services, the, safety and security of the people who are using the tunnel and also 168. And to tell you the truth, all this subway station around here needs a more,
attention.
Well, security and the one on 162nd Street, that the C line, the A line, that area is another dangerous thing. So we are not mentioned that here. But I'm just want to make sure that we make stronger, that be resolved, that the Department of Transportation provide further updates and security at the subways on one, the tunnel and the and the 168th Street inside,
I'll rework that a little bit. I'll listen to that, and I'll insert that other whereas. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I don't want to spend the whole meeting doing that, but I'll rework that.
No. But I just want, they're gonna say some stories. That they're gonna do that.
Yeah, and I'll insert Julio's whereas. I'll insert Julio's whereas above. Whereas the scaffolding at 600 West 168th creates a
hazard.
A hazard and debris that accumulates into the subway station. I'll insert that also. Okay. All right. So what do people think about this?
I have one question. At
Who's
191st Street, where
excuse me, identify yourself. Who is this?
Sorry. Deborah Barrett.
All right, what is your question?
My question has to do with, you focused on the tunnel, but also at the 191st Street station where the tunnel is, there is tremendous leakage with talk about hazardous conditions. Is there anything that the MTA is addressing in regards to this?
Well, that's the general thing that we have there about, improved maintenance and such. Yes.
Well, you need to go to that station and see the leakage.
Yeah. Barbara, can I add something? I mean, I'm not sure whether the maintenance of the MTA, that will be more of something for the transit to deal with as opposed to the public safety. I mean, it's because I sort of think that if it deals with the transportation, then and the maintenance of that, that committee will be more appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. We have to address the safety issues here. Exactly. Yeah, it's the safety issues. All right. So committee members, OC, Jamirna, Gabriella, what do you think?
I'm in favor of it, and I agree with everything that has been explained and added.
Okay. OC?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm sorry. I missed the one part. Do we know why the bridging is there for so many years?
No, I mean, we sent a letter. That letter above that I said where it's Community Board 12 sent a letter, that's what the letter is about. And you
All right.
received that, copies that in your box, okay? That we're currently investigating, okay?
All right. I have no, yeah, I'm in
Oh,
favor of that. Okay.
okay, Jamirna? Any input, Jamirna?
No, no input.
Okay, all right, so let's take a vote of committee members. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, Gabriella, yes. OC, yes. Barbara, yes. Jamirna?
Yes.
Okay, so all are in favor. Okay. All right, then Maria Luna?
Yes, in favor.
Okay, okay. Other community board member. Okay, members of the public?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Members of the public in favor. Okay,
Yes,
all
yes,
right.
in favor, yeah.
Bernard Groman, you're in favor too?
Yes, I also wanted to point out, I just saw the 33rd pop up, so they're here.
Oh,
now.
they showed up. Oh, they're here now. Great. Okay, great, great, great. Okay.
Hi, good
All right,
evening,
so we
everyone.
did that. Now, I'm not sure, since we don't have a quorum, this isn't official, but I think then it can go, we can pass it on unofficial and it can go to the executive committee. I'll check with Eliezer about that and also Jim Berlin, but at least we discussed it, we approved it, and we'll see what happens. Okay? All right, thank you. And then also you have Emily Marte has seen it, so you can take that home with you, Emily. Chanel will
Barbara,
give you a
how many
copy.
people on the committee?
What?
How many people are we on the committee?
9.
And how
and
many are present?
we have 4 present, but
No, it's
Domingo
not.
has an excused absence tonight. So I'm not sure if that counts toward full quorum or not. When you have an excused absence.
I think
Not
it
sure.
does. I think
It
it
does?
does. If it does, then we have a quorum, because without a quorum, we can't vote on resolutions.
Well, I
So-
took this vote to just see, because I wasn't sure about with Domingo's absence, okay? So then the
Okay.
vote won't count. The vote
Okay.
won't count if Domingo's absence has to be included in quorum, then the vote doesn't count, okay? And that's, but I want to take a vote just in case it would count,
Sure.
okay?
Sure.
So it's tentative, okay? Tentative, all right?
Yeah.
And then we'll find out tomorrow if it's okay. All right, let's move on. Okay, the next thing is, we have 33rd has just gotten here, but Ellie has been waiting, and so I think Ellie should be next. Ellie, you've been so patient. Ellie, you
Thank you,
still here?
Barbara. I'm okay waiting the 3 wants to go. Or I can also be very brief. I have 2 updates.
Okay, your turn. Ellie, it's your turn.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So first, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Ellie Sylvester on behalf of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, and I particularly work for the Community Partnership Unit as an Assistant Supervisor of Community Engagement. Tonight, I just really wanted to take a second to thank Community Board 12 for working with my office and the 33rd and the 34th precinct to host a public safety forum last month. I think it was a very successful informational forum, and we look forward to our future partnerships, and we look forward to continue working very closely with CB12, Barbara and Domingo and the rest of the members, and of course, our partners in PD, the 33rd and the 34th precinct. We thank both commanding officers for coming out alongside DA Alvin Bragg and, sharing information with the community members. The second thing that I wanted to briefly mention is that DA Bragg is going to be hosting a series of conversation on different topics within the criminal justice system with advocates, community leaders, and more. The first topic is gonna be on human trafficking, and it's gonna be a webinar. I don't have all the details of this particular webinar, but I do know it's gonna be hosted on May 18. So I did wanted to share with all of you tonight, because by the time I see all of you guys again, it's gonna be after the webinar is hosted. So I wanted to announce it tonight. And once the flyer and the informational link is created, I'm more than happy to share with Ebenezer, Paola, Chanel, to make sure it's shared with everyone here. But I did wanted to announce it publicly for everyone to know that this series of conversations is going to be happening. And the first one is going to be on human trafficking, taking place on May 18, I think from 1 p.m. But again, all the details have not been ironed out. I just really wanted to announce that it's going to be happening this month. And, you know, I'm always available for all of you, Jocelyn as well. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, just please send us an email, and we're here to serve the community. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Ellie?
No, it was a busy month. You know, it was Sexual Assault Awareness Month in April. We were out in the community bringing awareness. That's a lot of the work that I do with the community, raising awareness on various criminal justice topics. And, you know, we always look forward to working with all of you. So if you guys want to have a question or something that we should be collaborating together, please just reach out to me and Jocelyn, and we will look into it.
We had talked the previous month about, Jocelyn, I think, was more involved with this than you, about working up some workshops for seniors on scams. Has any progress been made on that?
I can certainly follow up with Jocelyn, but that's something that my office offers throughout the whole Manhattan, whether it is virtual or in person. So I'm more than happy to coordinate it with Jocelyn, whether it is at Isabella or whatever.
She was going to work it up, and we thought maybe over the summer would be when it would more get shape. But just wondered if there was an update. Okay,
thank you. What I can do in the meantime is send the board our updated flyers with information on scams until we put together the workshop. Our scam flyers are available in Spanish, Chinese, English, and I think Russian. So I can send that to the board with tips, safety tips in the meantime.
Great. Okay, thank you. Board members, committee members, any questions for Ellie? No?
Thanks, and I'm gonna stick around, you know, for the rest of the call, okay?
All right, if you think of something, Ellie's staying around, so, okay.
Thank you. Barbara, and everyone else.
Everyone else, okay. All right, so now let's go to the 33rd. 33rd jumped, oh no, we have Superintendent Miller, he's been waiting. Superintendent Miller? Let's,
Hey, good evening, everyone. Very quick. Thank you for having me. So as of let's say May 4th, we still have our general population in the work release women at Edgecombe. We are in the process of setting up the transitional housing for releasees coming out of state facilities and they can volunteer to come to Edgecombe. We've been working on collaboration with the Department of Homeless Services and HRA, as well as collaborating. I'm going to meet with the precinct commander from the 33rd, and we're meeting with the Manhattan DA's office coming up. So we're going to, partner with everyone, let everybody know what's going on. We're still scheduled to have our tour of the facility June 7th. So please make sure that the RSVPs come in. I would need the definitive list by 2 weeks prior to June 7th. So I had mentioned that I think 2 meetings ago or so. So please just follow up with me. I had put my email address earlier in the chat. And I believe the community board has my information. That's my report for now.
Okay, all right.
I have a question.
Go on, Osi.
So there was a conversation about having a visit, and I think Jamirna or maybe somebody else was supposed to take, to get back to you, I believe, with the name of community members that would like to come to a visit. And I don't know, I never got an email, so I'm not sure where is it at right now.
Right. I'm I'm still waiting for the listing. When I get-
So pretty
I'll res-
much, I announced it at the general board meeting. I only got contacted by one person, and I told everyone to contact me if you're interested in attending. And the superintendent is always here reminding us about it. And you mentioned me, so I guess you were aware that it's me. And you haven't contacted me, so you
I
just
don't
gotta
have
let
the
me know.
address. That's the other problem, but okay. Can you add me to your list then?
I got you.
All right.
How many people?
I have a quite quick question for the superintendent.
No, wait, Bernard, you have to wait to be called on. Come on, stop it. You have to raise your hand and then get called on. Superintendent, how many people total can come on the tour?
30.
30, okay. Did you reach out to some of the people in the surrounding neighborhood?
No.
And maybe give those names to Jumirna? I think that would be a good idea. Some of the maybe like the principal or assistant principal at the school, or the parent coordinator at the
Oh, no,
school.
the school has been, we have
In
a part.
touch. You have a partnership with them,
Yeah.
you know, or the building there that's for the former foster kids and former homeless residents. Something like that, maybe, you know, make a connection so that people could see what, I know that the co-op that's around, the co-ops that are around the corner from you, they had some like trepidation. We went through a whole thing a couple of years ago on the housing committee about, well, we have this because there's also the prison there. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just saying that was the case, to maybe reach out to to a couple of those buildings and, you know, offer, have a few representatives from those buildings come. Possible. What do you think?
You know, I'll check with my exec committee. I want to go through the community board, you know, so
Yeah.
anybody active, I don't want to just knock on doors.
No, not at all. But I know you have that community liaison group, so it was just an idea. Okay. All right. So Jamirna, we'll talk to a few other people on the community board, and you know, we'll get some more names. 30 is a lot of people, you know, and we'll go
Yeah,
from there.
we specifically mentioned that we would like to have 5 of the invites reserved for CB12 members, and then open to the public. You know, we don't want to just making sure that as many CB12 go. We are not the priority, is the community. However, CB12 has 5 seats for attendees. And I wanted to ask Superintendent Miller if it's okay if I can get you the names by May 25th, as our meeting together is on the 24th, so the following day. That should be exactly 2 weeks from the 7th, if that's okay.
Yes.
Superintendent Miller.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And if you may, please share your email verbally, because I can't see the chat. If you may, please.
Oh, okay. All right, give me a second. My battery's running low. All right.
Okay.
You
Okay,
ready?
and
I'm
Jamirna,
gonna tell it.
Jamirna put me down for the tour also.
Got you, Barbara.
Thank you.
All right, so it's SEIVERIGHT Miller at doccs.ny.gov.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right. Anything else?
I was gonna say, question. Have there been any updates about the future plans of the facility? I know that was mentioned briefly last month. So I was wondering if there has been a follow-up update on that.
Yes, we have a tentative start date of August 1st.
For the transitional housing,
Yes.
August 1st, okay. What will be the housing, what will it be like? Will each resident like have their own room? What will it look like? Or we'll see June 7th? What?
You'll see, but it's pretty much a dorm style. It's not, there's only a few individual rooms. It's all single bunk though, there's no double bunking. Everyone has a bed, locker, and space under the bed for their personal belongings. There's also a recreation area. There's an area for programmings and workshops where we've got approval to construct a new computer lab. So I know the funding was approved. It's just a matter of when they do it. So there's a lot of what's the best way? A lot of value added things that we want to put into the population.
Is there, when you say dorm style, how many men would be to a room?
There's some rooms that are single, some that are 2, some that are 4. The most is 6.
Okay, all right, okay. Good, okay. All right. Any other questions? All right, we'll get more, time goes on, So, and that's going to be how many people, how many residents in the transitional?
The capacity, the max is 70.
Okay, not very big. Okay, 70. Okay. How are the people selected?
They can volunteer. They're based on being released and being considered undomiciled. So basically, we're going to prepare a pamphlet with all the information and get it out to all of the facilities throughout the state. And their counsel can meet with them and answer their questions. And they can sign up. They basically sign up agreeing to, the expectations. And then they are screened and then they come in. So our screening, like I said, it screens out sex offenders and it screens out mentally ill on psychotropic medication.
Okay, what is there a curfew on the resident? Huh?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Okay, all right. And then will they definitely have jobs as they come out? Is that one of the requirements to have some sort of activity, if not a paying job?
No. It's not a requirement. It's an expectation that they will seek employment, and we're going to have services to help them find employment.
Transition. Okay. Oh, great. Okay, fine. Okay, wonderful. Okay, sounds good. All right. Any other questions? Well, the 33rd is also on now too, and they're probably glad to hear this because that's who you're going to be working with, And so they asked a few of these questions because that's for their edification also. All right. Anybody else? Okay. Bernard Grodman, you had a question?
Yeah, I think you sort of asked them already, but are these people who have completed their sentences, or are they people that are coming out like on parole or whatever the situation is?
Everybody is going to be on parole, and the assigned parole officers will be at the facility.
And is this the only neighborhood that this is being done in, or are there other neighborhoods that this is being done in?
This is the first one in the state.
I think people should question their elected officials about that. That's my statement. Anyway, thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next, next I guess we go to the 33rd, huh? Did you have anything else to say, Superintendent Miller?
No, thank you. No.
Okay, you want to stick around for the 33rd though, I think, right?
Sure.
Okay, Lieutenant Garcia?
Hey, good
You're
evening, everyone. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. We were having technical difficulty, but I'm glad I was able to make it.
Who's this?
Meet everyone. I'm Lieutenant Garcia from the 3-3. I'm actually the Special Operations Lieutenant. I am new
okay.
to the command.
Never
So,
met you before. Hi.
Hi. Yes, I am new to the precinct, so I've been here for 2 months now, and glad to be here. Yes.
What is your first name?
Vladimir.
Vladimir. Okay. All right. So what do you have to tell us?
So I give you guys, I guess, a breakdown for the crimes of what we took for the last 28 days. We have from robberies, we have 15 versus last year was 10. Felony assault was 18 versus last year was 24. Burglary, we have 14 for the current period versus 9 from last year. We have grand larceny was 29 for this period versus 32 from last year. We have GLAs, grand larceny of auto, 4 for this 28 days versus 3 from the previous year. Pretty much, we've been having a lot of problems with the grand larceny of autos. People leaving the cars running. It's important to make sure that we don't leave those cars with the key in the ignition running. People double park, they go in the stores, or even to the food trucks down on Amsterdam, and they're being washed. So that's when the subjects come, jump in the car, and take the car and run away with it. And if you guys have any questions or anything to do around the neighborhood, I'm more than happy to answer your questions.
Murders. Were there any murders?
No, there was none.
Okay.
We're actually doing good. There was for the current 28-day period, we have 0 versus 1 that was last year, so we're down to 0, and there was no rape as well. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Osi. Go ahead.
Okay, so I would like the 33rd to report any animal cruelty reports through either 311 or 911. Just like the 34th is doing, we are one district, and it will be best to know what's going on in the entire district, not only part of it. I know that there were like a few dogfighting rings in Washington Heights not too long ago. So it will be really, really helpful to know status of those cases, and in general, whenever residents are calling for, reporting to 311 or 911 any animal cruelty.
Well, sure. That's definitely something we can look into. Honestly, like I said, I've been here for 2 months. I have not seen that in the last 2 months that I've been here, but I could definitely look into it, and maybe we can discuss that for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Gabriella, Jamirna, any questions?
I don't have no questions, Barbara.
Oh, okay. In terms of the assaults, felony assaults, what kind of weapons were used? What kind of guns? How many were gun related or knife related? Hello? Oops.
I'm sorry, I didn't unmute it. Yeah,
in terms of the assaults, how many were
yeah.
gun related or knife related?
Yes, we did. I have 1 was a firearm, 2 was a cutting instrument, and 9 were a blunt object. That's pretty much what I have. And 11 of those were in the residence and 3 in the street for the 28 days.
So 11 of the 18 were in the residence. So it's a lot of domestic violence, right?
That is correct.
How many domestic violence calls did you have in the last month? Because
that's something that I will have to get back to you. I
don't know. I'm just saying, because in the 34th precinct, they had something like 200.
We average a large number. I don't want to give you the wrong information. So
but I'm just saying they had like 200 domestic violence and almost 200 emotionally disturbed. It's draining.
I agree, definitely. I mean, it is a large number here too. I just, like I said, I don't have a specific number, so I don't want to give you a number.
Uh-huh.
But it is a large number as well.
And I'm saying it's also emotionally draining on the officers.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, my sympathy,
Thank you.
I mean,
we actually recently just had an officer assaulted on 178 in Amsterdam. It was
What?
months ago.
Can you talk a little more louder? It's kind of fuzzy.
I'm sorry. I think it might be my mic. Can you hear me?
No, I can. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I'm saying that recently we actually had an officer assaulted on Amsterdam and 178 around the area. I think there's a video going around social media as well. But one of my officers was actually assaulted while they were trying to conduct quality of life enforcement.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. In the 34th, we had some very serious noise disturbances, mayhem in the streets. I didn't get as much report on that in the 33rd. What is the situation with that?
Well, we don't, to be honest, I can gladly say that we don't have a large problem like that in the street. We do get every now and then some 311 calls about complaining noise in the street, but it's not a large number, nothing alarming. So nothing compared to the 3-4 as per what you're saying.
Okay. Why do you think that is? You don't have the same crime locations?
Well, it's definitely a different area, but I also want to give credit to my officers out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would like to say that the work we put in here is pretty good. And, also, it's a different area also.
Different area.
I don't want to discredit the 3-4 as well, but, my officers do a lot of good work. I have been out there, enforcing this type of enforcement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Barbara, this is Maria. I have my hand raised.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that.
Since he is from the 3-3 and I'm the president of the council.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Our last meeting, which happened to be last Thursday, the report was that our 33rd police precinct is the #2 in less crime in the entire 17 precincts that compose all this area. We are very happy to just be we're trying to work to be the #1 with the, the lower numbers of crime. Now we are talking about the noises that we have, you have to compare with the 3-4. Remember that on the 3-4, you have a corridor, the diamond areas, which are a lot of restaurants, a lot of, there is there's a whole lot of activities compared to our 3-3, which is mainly more residential.
Yeah.
And we try to get the 4, the NCOs with the neighborhood community officers are on patrol all the time on the street, walking up and down and trying to make sure that some of the problems that we have are alleviated. We are very happy to see the engagement. On my monthly council, I average around 70 people from the community that attend the meetings. I don't see too many members of the community who are attending the meetings. So I think that they wait for this particular committee to air the problems. But I think that I'm urging most members to come out and attend our meeting, which is the last Thursday of each month. We had a very, well involved, community officers, the explorers. Also, I urge most of the young people to join the explorers to make sure that the young people are, much involved and trying to control the illegal guns, that the ones that are non-numbers that they're going all over the place. But I think that, I happen to report that we are doing at the 3-3, we're doing really, really well in our precinct.
Yeah, congratulations.
Those are the officers out there, and especially on the, making sure around the schools area that there is a presence there. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Maria. Excellent report. Thank you.
Tuna. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank
yeah,
you.
we actually are #2 in the citywide, #2 versus in crime.
In what, in terms of decreasing crime or total crime?
in terms of the lowest crime.
Oh, excellent, excellent. All right. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Okay. Bernard Groban, you still have your hand up? Do you have a question?
Yes, I'm a resident of the 33rd, and I wanted to say that they've been doing a good job. I know usually I come on here and complain, but amazingly enough, they're doing a great job, actually. My block is a lot quieter. I'm on 161st. And, you know, and there are some chronic problems. There's like a couple of cars that kind of hang around and on a regular basis that, but mostly it's a lot quieter. And hopefully it stays like that, because like the last couple of years, there was crazy 4th of Julys and some other stuff. I mean, really nuts. But it seems like people are not hanging around like they were, and not making noise. And it's great. I just wanted to compliment you guys, and also voice a little bit of a concern. There's a sidewalk shed on Broadway and 160th. I guess the actual address would be 600 West 160. And underneath it, there's literally a gambling casino. And you guys are probably aware of it, you know. Walking it just feels dangerous half the time, you know. And I mean, literally cards, you know, everything with money, which can lead to, you know, some altercations, I'm sure, you know. And it shouldn't, literally the very definition of loitering, you know, because I looked it up. And you know, but other than that, my block is, I mean, Friday, Saturday night, it gets a little bit noisy. The guys in some of the stores want to crank the music up when they're cleaning up the store or whatever, like 11, 12 o'clock, which is irritating. But other than that, you guys have done a really great job. And you know, just compliments to you and to Captain Natali and everybody over there. Anyway, thanks.
May I add about that shed? We are working to investigate the landlord that have displaced some of the businesses that were, you know, a fish market there. There was a hardware store, all those things, trying to make sure that you know, they dismantle that. They've been resisting giving us the information, but we are working. This is one of our projects, because I walk up and down that area by going to the pharmacy and the supermarket and seeing all these guys gambling there. It's really, you know, an embarrassment just to the community.
Right. And also,
you know, so we are working on that. We
Yeah,
are aware of that situation.
Oh, that's good, because I looked the shed up. I mean, that permit expired like years ago, I think.
Right.
You know,
The landlord is refusing to give us information. We need to go to the Department of Buildings for that.
All right. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Luna, and
Well, you know, Lieutenant Garcia, you heard that. You guys are doing a really great job. I think you got to report that back to the captain, right? To Captain Natali.
Absolutely.
You know,
we appreciate that you guys do see the work that we do. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's what the committee is also here for, to not only, you know, look for problems or but also give solutions and compliment when, you know, things are really working. It's to work together with you guys, right?
Definitely appreciate that. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's great. Okay, any other questions for Lieutenant Garcia? Anything else? No? Okay, well, I guess that's it then. So
Barbara?
Yeah.
So before, I'm sorry, it's Julio Batista again.
Yeah, go ahead, Julio.
So I just wanted to just say a couple of things if I can. One of them is I reported at the District Service Cabinet that the New York Presbyterian Hospital has a full-fledged gym. And unfortunately, we are dismantling that gym because we're going to be using the space for services. And so I announced it at the District Service Cabinet that we had some equipment available. I'm happy to report to this committee that this afternoon, we had members of the 33rd Precinct come by the gym, do a walkthrough, and they're going to be taking quite a few equipment so they could go back and refurbish their own gym at the precinct. So we're happy that that is taking place.
Great.
We're also going to be donating some of the equipment to 34th precinct, and they're going to be coming down to scope out what they want. And outside of the CB12 and CB9, we're also giving some to the 30th precinct. We hope to also give some to some of the local firehouses. We're still working on that, but I just want to be able to report that to this committee that some of this equipment will be going to the precincts.
Great, more collaboration, great.
And just one final thing that OC sort of reminded me, and this really goes to the DA's office, is that the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office created a new unit that was centered on animal cruelty and environmental crimes. And of course, I guess his approach is that by creating this unit is that some of these incidents where you have, animal cruelty also relates to crimes against actual humans. So it's a new unit. I think it's be great if the Manhattan District Attorney's Office can sort of look into that and see whether that makes sense for that to be mirrored in Manhattan as well, because there's a lot of correlation between animal cruelty, especially young kids, and how they grow up. So just wanted to echo that.
Thank you for saying that, Julio. I have to add, which I spoke about it like when I joined the committee. The ASPCA used to investigate animal cruelty up until 2014, but once the authorities realized that it's actually there is a relation between animal cruelty and abuse of people and even murder. There are some serious cases back in the past when people are starting with small with animals and they make the leap and abuse and kill people. And so this is why it was moved to the NYPD, and the ASPCA is helping some investigations, but it's definitely the NYPD. This is why it's really important. So for those of you listening to what I'm saying, think that I'm the crazy like cat lady person. Crazy. No. I'm not saying that we are on the committee, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, I just want to be clear that there is a correlation. And if we don't catch it on time, some people will make the leap and abuse and even get into killing people. So we gotta really be careful about like not taking animal cruelty seriously. This is why I asked the 33rd to start reporting, just like the 34th is, about any cases. Thank you.
OC, let me back you up on that. If you look up, for example, the main traits of or main signals of a serial killer, one of them is that they were cruel to animals as a child. I mean, it's one of the main traits.
Well, let me. I'll give you something closer to home, and personal to me. So maybe about 10 years ago, we had a triple homicide on 152nd Street. It was two young men who went into rob, and these are, they were, I guess, just above their teens. They went in to rob. They went and killed the brother, the sister, and the mother. It was scheduled to be a robbery. It turned out that these kids were well known in the community. Everybody knew who did it. And one of the things that set them apart was that they continually tortured cats. Right. And but that's how they knew who they really were, because they torture cats, torture animals, and end up killing 3 people.
Yeah. All right, anything else? Okay. All right.
Barbara, it's Ellie from the DA's office. I just wanted to thank off OC and Julio for bringing, this new unit from the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office to my attention. I will be more than happy to pass it along to our executive, and I will keep you posted once I hear back from them, okay?
Oh, okay.
I'll
Great.
just share the information with them, of course.
Okay. All right. Sandra Sanchez is also here. Julio, you work with her, right?
Yes, and I'm working with her on the equipment for.
Oh, okay. Does she want to, Sandra want to say anything also, or Sandra, did you want to contribute anything specific?
And by the way, Superintendent Miller, I know that Barbara also started a tradition with the correction facility, where I guess she had donated some books.
Not yet, but we are
in the process. So if we as we go through the process, if there's something that your folks will be interested in, some of the equipment, let me know, and we'll be happy to do a walkthrough with you guys as well.
So you have my email address, right?
Yeah, you send it to me. Yeah, I got it now.
All right, so yeah, we can communicate offline. Thank you.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that would be excellent, because you are going to have that recreation relaxation room, right, with the transitional.
Yeah, so there's some space.
Oh, that would be excellent. Even just to have like maybe three different machines or activities, or even just Julio, do you have some like bars in there, like chin-up bars and stuff?
Yeah, we have plenty of those as well.
Oh, that would be great, because even something, because that doesn't take up much space and would be heavily used, right? Superintendent Miller.
Yeah, I would think that there'd be some interest. So we'll check it out. We'll get together.
Okay, great. You and Julio get together.
Yeah, we'll get together and we'll do a walkthrough.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
Sounds great. Okay. All right. Anything else? Uh-oh. All right. Well, then I guess we can adjourn then. Anybody have anything else to contribute? We've had with us tonight an attendee, Austin Huang, who's not said anything, from the Osborne Association. Austin, did you want to speak up and say anything or have any comments? Austin?
Yeah, no comments really. We're sort of, if for those of you who don't know, the Osborne Association, we're over on 125th and Adam Clayton Powell, but we work sort of in the broader Harlem, Washington Heights, and Wood community. And yeah, I'm just here to listen to the concerns of the community members. So this was all very helpful.
What does the Osborne Association do?
Sorry, yes, we mostly provide direct services to folks affected by the criminal justice system. So we have workforce development programs, we have youth programs with youth whose parents or family members have been incarcerated or are incarcerated. We also have housing programs as well.
Oh, well, maybe we should have you come and give a presentation.
Yeah,
have we ever had them with the committee before? OC, do you know?
I'm not sure.
Gabriella, have we ever had them present to the committee before? Well, Austin, why don't you come back next month and give a presentation on what you're doing, and especially what you're doing in Community Board 12?
Great, I'd love to.
Huh?
Great, yeah, I was just saying I'd love to. That'd be great.
Okay, you're invited. You're on the agenda, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, great. All right, and you have like a little PowerPoint. You can work it out with Ebenezer Smith, so you can do a little PowerPoint.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, wonderful. Well, I'm glad you're here, wonderful. All right, anything else, anybody? We have kept this.
I'm sorry, I was going to say that I had a chance to speak with Austin. So we're going to look to collaborate at Edgecombe also.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, good. Okay, so I guess we kept this to 2 hours. Can I have a motion from the committee to adjourn?
I second.
Jameer, okay, anyone second it?
I'll
Or Jameer,
second.
okay, who's seconding it? OC?
Deborah.
No, you can't, Deborah. It has to be from the committee member.
Oh.
A motion to adjourn. I don't know if somebody else seconded already, so I'm not sure who.
Okay, that was, OC gave the a motion and Deborah and Jumira seconded it. Okay, so we adjourn at 9:07 p.m. Not bad, 2 hours. Not bad, 2 hours, and we allowed for a lot of discussion. So I think that was productive. Okay.
Very active. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Good
Have
night,
a good
everyone.
Barbara, how could I get access to the video of this?
Good job.
The office and your link.
Ebenezer will have it on the YouTube like tomorrow.
Tomorrow or the next. Link
on YouTube. You just Google, on YouTube, you just search Community Board 12 Public Safety. It'll be there.
Oh, okay. All right, and I did send out last week. I sent out a invitation because I don't know if you remember, but during the last general meeting, I mentioned that there was going to be a public safety discussion at Word Up, and I sent it to the board, and they never shared it out. And I shared it to some committee members too, based on what I had on the mailing list. And I didn't have anyone from the board there. And I just feel like we should be in these conversations. And I just wanted to let you know to like, please stay on top of these emails. I know I send it to Eliezer, Paola, last name Paniagua, and Ebenezer. And it was never shut out. I never got a response, nothing. So it's tough when I'm creating these opportunities, when I have these things to share and they're not then shared forward because I'm limited compared to the newsletter or anything.
Jamirna, you're supposed to have the list as a committee member, or board member, you're supposed to have the list of everybody's name, address, phone number, and email. That's to be supplied.
Yeah, I send it out to everybody on our committee, I believe.
Okay, but I'm saying also, but everybody on the community board, but that's confidential. You can't share it with a non-board member. Okay, and so ask Ebenezer for that, or ask Paula. But it's a confidential list. You can't give it to anybody public, right?
Yeah.
So, but that is, and that's and you can send things to other committee members. I mean, other board members. So you didn't necessarily have to go through Ebenezer or somebody to share something like that. You can make your own kind of little listserv.
Yeah, I actually reached out to everyone on the committee and I never heard back from anyone.
Yeah, Jamirna, I was upstate. I'm back and forth between New York and the Catskills. I go back and forth.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So I
probably well, you get some rest now.
Yeah, actually, I might as well tell people I currently have COVID at the moment. So it's kind of a little effort for me tonight, you know. I'm currently on antivirals and the whole bit. So, but I think we did a good meeting. I think it went okay, you know.
You have a good night. I hope you feel better.
Yeah. It's not too bad. Anyways, all right. Okay, so good night, everybody. Bye.